Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the British and Irish Professional Cup in affiliation with Into the Breach Esports. And we have a lower round of 16 that is coming ahead now here in the lower bracket. And my name is still Nutfish. I'm still joined by Orion, and I'm really running out of intro ideas.
I wasn't aware this was professional golf. I thought this was Trackmania, to be honest with you, but that was a very sensual intro. A delight to behold to my earlobes. Thank you very much for that. But we will be moving on from the ASMR and into some BIPC. See what I did there? Yeah, very smooth. We have DvinJo returning on the stream, as well as RealRoyboi. This time, two players that have never, ever been on a stream before, as far as I am aware, and that is crispp and Liffey. Now, crispp is Time Attack Andy and Time Attack God. But I think this is his first competition he's actually played. Something has convinced him to play BIPC2, and he's doing pretty damn well so far. Yes, he is in the lower bracket. That is true. But I think he made it through in the seeding event in
16th.
16th. So yeah, pretty good.
I mean, and that's 16th place. I mean, just to sort of unravel it a little bit, he's 9th on Candy Crush. He was 6th on Flameshift. He was 6th on Hoga. He was then 46th on Poles. That is 46th out of 62.
Even I did better than that.
Even the caster guy, even Orion did better in the seeding than crispp on Poles. So I just hope that he's, sort of cleaned up his performance on Poles. Luckily for him, it will only be played once because it is map 3, but I will reserve a statement on crisp's performance until after we've seen Poles.
I mean, to be fair, his time attack score was actually pretty consistent with like the top 16. His round score was appalling. He must have crashed literally all 5 rounds on Poles, because I can't see his round score was 42k. And then the next player on 42k down from him is qualified 48th. So he just went full troll despair in rounds on Poles. But I mean, he's had a week since that seeding event, so surely he's ironed out those inconsistencies on Poles, I should say.
I mean, it's quite easy, right? If you trained 3 out of the 4 maps rigorously in both time attack and also 4 rounds, and that you're gonna make week 2, then at that point you can just focus on Poles, on that one remaining floor, and I hope to the Lord above that is what he's done.
I mean, it's not a live round. It's not a live round.
Okay.
We had an error with the match recording, but Liffey thought he was on Poles. He did an opposite of the Sean incident. Or maybe he's just, I don't know, maybe he's just playing around. But
wait. So this is warm up, right? This is not...
It's not warm up. It is technically a live round, but it is not live.
Okay.
Because there was an issue with recording the match. So this round is not live. I mean, Roy is still full practicing. We'll see what kind of a time that Roy drives up front.
I mean, you're gonna see it.
Yeah, well, are you not? Are we on cameras?
No. I will not, because just to explain how this sort of stuff works, I'm not actually in the lobby. I get a production feed, and I can see myself right now and Orion looking very intensively in the camera and smiling and smirking a little bit. But yeah, that's the usual way these productions sort of work. Setup-wise, we just had technical issues, which is also why our start was very rushed and also delayed, because tech issues can go off themselves.
Production guy skill issue.
No, not production guy skill issue. Literally internet skill issue. I think that's.
I blame deployer.
No, I don't. No. I would never blame a Frenchman, because I am deeply scared he will come after me with both a Sheba and a baguette.
Which is the more dangerous of the 2 weapons?
Obviously, the baguette.
Yeah, if used correctly.
The dog you can kick. The baguette you can't. I would just to clarify, I would of course never kick a dog. You know.
Also, other
Just
weapons are available.
also other dog breeds are available, as are other yeast
Other
products.
bat-shaped objects. Oh, for
Well,
goodness sake.
someone spat me in the chat. Bonk the streamer. Bonk the streamer indeed. And meanwhile, let's get back to it after getting derailed a little bit by baguette-shaped weapons. Coming into this now. Orion, we sort of spoke about it before we went back live. It's a thing where crispp looked really, really good and probably like the best player of this lobby. But behind him, it should be quite close, right?
That's what I am thinking. Yeah, I mean, we said crispp qualified 16th, but definitely out of position just because he didn't have a good seeding event on polls. So I would say crispp is probably top 10. And we heard from DvinJo earlier that that's what he was going for as well. We also heard from DvinJo earlier that his mental went a little bit, and I think that is kind of the catalyst to his performance. If he's in a good place mentally and he's just kind of vibing, feeling confident, then he drives well, drives consistently, and can just put in round-winning times. But yeah, if the mental goes, then I think he just gives up on himself a little bit and starts to get in his own head, and that's where the mistakes start to come through. I'll talk about Roy as well, who is still kind of an up-and-coming. He's shown a lot of improvement after winning BIPL Season 2. There was one LAN performance in particular, I think it might have been Gamax, where he possibly made the final, but just overall had a very good performance at that LAN. And then Liffey as well. Not a player on my radar, I won't lie, so I'm not going to say anything good or bad about Liffey. I'm just going to see what he comes up with, really.
The one benefit Liffey has is he's Irish. And that is a good nationality to be, as it is still part of the EU. But EU bias aside, I hope that all four players actually just give us a very good matchup and to give us a very close and competitive round as we start our journey here on Frameshift, and it's our boy crispp that has already made a mistake.
Yep, crispp has made a mistake. DvinJo in front in this round. Liffey going through, but slightly different lines actually going through that checkpoint. DvinJo opting to go out wider and take the jump and carry more speed through. Liffey opting for a more direct line, staying on the inside of that plastic. Neither really seems too favorable over the other. It's just, again, what players feel comfortable with. Roy, though, with some very tidy lines to close out the map. He's had to release slightly, though, and that's let Liffey come back through to take a win here. 56-1, so not as fast as we were seeing in the upper bracket from Boz earlier. Was he driving 0.4s?
Yep. He
was. So that to put it in context, that just kind of shows how quickly Boz was driving. He would have won that round there by what, 0.7?
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is looking quite fast, and then I looked at the times and like, oh, this is slow. But just because I've been conditioned, it's not slow. That's the thing, right? We've been conditioned by BozBest to think that a 56.1, which is still a good time, especially considering the stage of the lower bracket where we're at, it is actually pretty good, but it's noticeably behind the elite. Let's just put it that way. As we go ahead into the second round with crispp, the only one deciding not to go for the jump.
Yeah, crispp once again at the back, but this time not courtesy of his mistake, just slightly slower than all the other drivers, and he's not had a great line there as well. Dropped that gear as well. So it's going to be the front three to take us home here. DvinJo currently in the lead. Roy, though, with slightly better speed, but I don't think he's going to catch DvinJo at the line. 55.8, so 0.2 faster than the last round, and only a 10th separating DvinJo and Roy over the line. Liffey this time has to settle for third place, despite driving a similar time. And once again, crispp at the back of the field. Not what I was expecting, to be honest. I thought crispp would be a lot stronger than this, but clearly, doesn't have the tournament experience. and might still be struggling in these rounds.
Let's not forget this is the lower bracket, right? So this is an elimination match where tournament experience, we talk about it a lot, is not really important when you're in the winner bracket, because you know you got another tournament, you know you got another life, you know you can afford mistakes. In the lower bracket, the mental is just different, where mistakes feel like they have more impact than they do in the upper bracket. So you're gonna be wary of making you might not want to push to the extremes, as crispp is not gonna be bonking out there, but Roy is, who's gonna be falling in far behind. It's certainly a 4th place finish for Roy.
Yeah, well, crispp needs a better round here, needs a good end. Ideally, needs a round win under his belt, because he's had 2 4th places so far. Might be able to get Liffey on the line. It's going to be incredibly close, but Liffey just about gets him. DvinJo, another 55-8 there. That is going to be good for his self-confidence. 2 rounds driven very cleanly back-to-back. So DvinJo had a dodgy first round, but he's picked it up here and is currently in 2nd place.
Yeah, just won a bit of a dodgy round, and then after that, cleaned it up, finished first both times with a 55.8 as well. So DvinJo continuing his strong showing, continuing his strong form, and is getting used and is getting settled into this matchup.
Yes, crispp looks like he's having a slightly better round here, has got good pace in the mid part of the map, and is just about in 1st place as things stand. Does not opt to go for the triangle, but is going to have a lot more speed as well. Goes for a slight wiggle there just to gain a bit of speed, but DvinJo with a better drift moving into that 1st place. I think crispp really needs to finish 1st or 2nd here. Roy has made a mistake at the back, and Liffey is only just behind crispp, and crispp going to be punished there. It's going to be a straight fight between DvinJo and Liffey. DvinJo having to release slightly, but I think he's got just enough speed to evade Liffey at the finish. 56 dead for DvinJo, 2/10 slower than what he drove the previous 2 rounds, but still enough for victory here. DvinJo and Liffey holding firm at the top of the table, and Roy and crispp falling further behind.
Especially crispp falling in very, very far behind. 68 points only remaining. And wait, how do you lose 32 points after 4 rounds? That doesn't make... Does that make sense? Am I... Oh yeah, 10, 10, 6, 6, right? That's how.
Yeah,
that's how. Matt, quick. 2 plus 2 is 4. Quick math.
Yes.
10, 10, 6, 6. Casters can do maths, but the drivers can indeed also drive, except for DvinJo, who's struggling this jump, but his signature jump, close jump, through that triangle could lead to him making up more time. DvinJo 2/10 behind the rest of the field. Very close together indeed.
Yeah, DvinJo does seem to be catching slightly, and if there's a mistake at the end, or someone has to just release a little bit to get an optimal line for the finish, as Liffey has had to do there, and DvinJo could sneak in. Here he comes as he got more speed over Liffey. Not quite, but it's very close on the line, and an equally close battle up the front as Roy beats out crispp by 1/10 of a second.
Very importantly as well for the top 3 is that DvinJo finished in last place, losing another 10 points. So it's hero or zero for DvinJo in this matchup, it seems. 3 times he finished 1st, twice he finished 4th. So not really sure where to sort of allocate him. He clearly has the pace, at least on frameshift. But does he have it consistently?
Yeah, I would say Candy Crush is where the mistakes and the mental started to come through for DvinJo before. It is a very nitpicky map. You have to get it cleanly and be precise as well if you want to be successful on here. And one small clip can cost you dear as well, just because of the amount of gears that you have to hold. It does kind of mess you up for the upcoming turns. It's only after about 5 or 10 seconds or so that you actually recover to driving the map normally. But yeah, we are currently in warm-up, and we will be going onto this map. Currently, Liffey is in 1st place, with DvinJo and Roy tied on 77 points. And then, somewhat surprisingly for me at least, crispp on 65. So yeah, crispp just not showing the consistency and pace in rounds that I was expecting from him.
Hmm?
Because I was expecting crispp to be at the top, to be honest. But
Yeah.
Liffey, I said, wasn't on my radar, but he is currently in first place as well. So yeah, lots of surprises in this matchup, but thankfully so far things have been pretty close, maybe with the exception of crispp, who was dropping back, but DvinJo in the first round has completely trolled the start and driven straight into the wall.
I mean, sometimes you see a spectator there in the grandstand and you just don't like them, so you just drive in the wall. It happens. It's the most natural of instincts.
Mac. That's not good.
It's the most natural of instincts, though. Right? Right? Oh, is that just me? Is that just me? It's possibly not just me because DvinJo has had it as well. But I mean, yeah, Liffey's a bit of a character that has been understated by us, and he's a player that we didn't expect greatness from. But I guess it says to us, never doubt the Irish. They can actually play the game. They can come in. The potato power is evident for Liffey.
My God, really going for the stereotypes today, aren't you,
mate?
Oh, Roy, that is a criminal error. In a comfortable first place, just loses it completely on the final turn. Thankfully, DvinJo was far enough back that he could take the safe finish and still finish in third place. But that is a 6-point loss compared to what should have been a 1-point loss for Roy.
Throwing it all away there in the ending. A rather weak time winning it all here in our first round of frame shift as we go into round 2, and it's good to see DvinJo already doing better by courtesy of not trolling the start. Continue into this second round. DvinJo still in front. It's been a difficult one for RealRoyboi, who's finding himself far behind. A mistake in there. crispp and Liffey, though, keeping it close in the second and third, making DvinJo, letting DvinJo know just to never let the foot off the accelerator, because that could spell danger. Liffey has to release, perhaps even a slight little touch to the inside will drop away from crispp.
Yeah, this is an important round for both of these. They are on 67 and 62 points respectively. It'd be great if crispp if he could get in front of DvinJo, but I don't think that is going to happen. crispp doesn't have a whole lot of speed, but does make that finish. So the players in third and fourth places are going to lose the least amount of points in that round. Roy with a big -10 there. That is really going to hurt him in his battle with all the other players, actually. They're all reasonably close together. It's only a 15-point gap.
Yeah, and especially crispp has been slowing down the bleeding. I think it's safe to say
Yes.
that he experienced earlier on the first map on I'm done on Candy Crush, right? No.
We are on Candy Crush right now. We just played Frame Shift.
Yeah, on Frame Shift. That's why I'm confused, because the world record is still that world record of Frame Shift that's shown to me.
Producer guy.
Deployer. Deployer. We need to get him a Shiba so he actually does it. But nevertheless, we are on Candy Crush right now, of course, and RealRoyboi is having a bit of a resurgence in this particular round. He's comfortably leading the pack to 10th in front of crispp and DvinJo, though, making the battle for P2 an interesting one. He's got more of an inside line. It's got to really go for it. He's really pushing for it. He has overtaken crispp. He will only take -3 points, but it is Roy to take this round.
Yeah, that was a full send end there from DvinJo, and does make up a place on crispp, who is going to lose another 6 points. Liffey, though, this time in last place, our current leader, has dropped a full 10 points, and that's going to bring the field even closer together. Only 11 points separating first and fourth now. So I feel like crispp is starting to warm up a bit. He might not still have the ultimate pace yet. I don't think we've seen him win a round, but he is definitely a lot more consistent on Candy than he was on Frame Shift.
Yeah, definitely. At least, like, not the ultimate pace, but he got sort of like Sox did in our last lower bracket round.
Yeah, exactly.
He had the consistency, right? And that is worth it a lot as well. As Wizzy has the world record with 56.3. We haven't seen any times closer to that, but We have seen good times regardless of that, and we have seen a top 3 sort of develop here. DvinJo, Roy, and Liffey. All 3 of them right in front. Crisp is lagging behind. The consistency not helping him if his opponents don't do mistakes of their own. Last turner, who can have the best speed? It seems to be Liffey. He's going to overtake DvinJo. DvinJo being sniped as well. He actually misses. He misses the jump.
I don't know if you saw, but DvinJo clipped the hole just before. He still had enough speed to make the finish, but yeah, he just clipped, and that compromised his line going into the final turn. That's what caused the 2 players to overtake, and then yes, just missed the finish. So DvinJo going all the way from first down to last there, hitting the wall at the start as well, weirdly. So it's an odd mistake to make for DvinJo, and once again we have a top 3, but at this point at a much earlier stage in the map. Crisp, Roy, and Liffey all in contention still for the victory in this round.
Yeah, they're all in contention, and I just want to say the world record on this map is indeed Wizzy by 56.351. It's definitely not the other way around. The world record is Wizzy is the world record on this map, but who isn't the world record is DvinJo, who's struggling once again at a bad start. Liffey with a mistake in there as well. Now Roy and Crisp battling for that P1, that final plastic part. Crisp seems to be lacking a bit of speed, goes for a more inside line, goes for a more consistent line, but it doesn't need to trouble Roy, who's going to finish in 56.9. Crisp in second, Liffey in third, DvinJo in fourth, and honestly, this field is just super close together.
Yeah, they really are. It just kind of seems they're taking it in turns to pop off and then have a bad round.
Mm-hmm.
The lead has changed so many times, and the order of 1, 2, 3, 4 has changed an equal amount of times as well. So I still feel like it's anyone's game because we still have the god killer that is Hoga as our last map. But before that, we will be moving on to polls.
Polls, and that is going to be the Achilles tendon, possibly, for Crisp, who, let's not forget, during the seeding event, let's just put it during the seeding, he was 46th.
He was. Yeah.
If he is anywhere near to that sort of level here in this next round on polls, it's trouble. Because that just means for me automatic minus 50 points, and I don't think he has 50 points.
Yeah, I mean, his time attack on poles was great. He knows how to drive this map. He was quite easily within the top players in terms of time attack. But yeah, he just had an absolute disaster in rounds during the seeding event. That was 8 rounds played, and of those 8, I don't know how many he crashed, but a lot. So yeah, maybe consistency, but that was a week ago. He's had a week longer to practice. Obviously, he would have highlighted this as his weakest map as well. And he seems to be driving pretty consistently. Just in that warm-up round there, drove a 54.2, which is a very respectable time. So let's hope, at least for Crisp's sake, that the issues whatever issues were plaguing him last week on this map in rounds, he has now managed to address, and he will be as competitive as he has been on the other maps.
Yeah, let's hope that as we go ahead here on polls and we move forward. It's looking not desperate for anyone. It's looking very close, in fact, but Crisp might be the one that could be in danger. He shows that he knows how to play it in time attack, but does he know how to play this round when the stakes are on?
Yeah, I think so. He had a bit of a slow start, just going a bit wide on the grass. But that section there is like high risk, high reward. If you go as close as you possibly can to that little bit of wall that sticks out, you get a really good line on the grass and the optimum line. But you need to be literally within pixels of it. And I think we saw Wizzy earlier just full bonk there, trying to get the optimum line onto the grass afterwards. This round is going to be won by RealRoyboi with a 53.9, DvinJo also with a 53.9, and then further back down, Crisp and Liffey driving 54.3s. Liffey with another minus 10, so he has gone from the lead down into second place, and Roy now the only player remaining with more than half of his points.
Roy, the only player remaining, but by the way this series, this match has played out, it's almost inevitable that Roy will make a mistake somewhere and that he will finish in fourth this round. Never mind, as both Liffey and Chris touch the wall, so Roy doesn't really need to drive brilliantly. He just needs to not make a mistake.
Yeah, but I'm sure he'd love to get DvinJo here and put everyone else on the back foot, extend his lead over everyone. DvinJo currently on 40 points, only 2 points off of crispp, who is in last place at the moment. But I'm sure DvinJo as well would love to win this round and try and put some distance between himself. And I think he is going to do that as well. Nice low jump over to the right. And DvinJo with a 54-1 takes the round. Roy in second. Crispp 8/10 back. Finishes third. And Liffey with a bigger mistake in last. So Liffey, 20 points in 2 rounds for him. It is a definite fall from grace because he was comfortably in first for a good while on Candy Crush, but now Poles does seem to be his Achilles heel. Mac guy?
I was totally not muted. I don't know what you're on about. But
yeah, I've done it 4 times so far this stream. Join the club.
Welcome. It's a nice club. It's a nice clubhouse to be in. But 32, 37, and 39 points for crispp, Liffey, and DvinJo respectively. It's sort of a fall from grace from Liffey. I mean, minus 20 in the first 2 rounds. Definitely not what he would have wanted. And now he's sort of in that battle for P2. Roy, the only one that seems comfortable here on Poles, and he's going to.
You idiot. Nice one. Oh, dear.
Oh, no. It's happened again. It's happened
That's
again.
The best one so far.
Oh, the Casticas. It happened again.
Poor Roy. Why would you do this?
I just wanted to...
big 10 points as well. He was, like, slowly eking out a lead, and now he's right back down with everyone else.
Do you know what would be even better? If he lost another 10 points now.
Oh, don't. Why?
For the
He's really nice.
For the drama.
He's really nice.
I don't have anything against him, but like for the drama.
Give me
for the content.
You know?
For the content. I'm a big fan of chaos, right? It would be the greatest chaos. It would be the content. That's why I like Trackmania World Tour maps, because they're just chaotic.
They are, but like you're bullying him. Cyberbullying this person.
No, I don't have that kind of power. He doesn't even listen to me.
I mean, yeah, okay. He's probably not going to listen to what you say, to be fair. He's just vibing. He's just driving. And he has got himself into first, although the speed on the exit, not ideal. Very close round, though. Crispp in first. DvinJo second. Roy third. Is anyone going to be able to get a low jump into the finish? DvinJo actually snipes it by 7 thousandths. Big round for DvinJo there. Great round from all players dropped in chat. That was an important one. Round 4 out of 5 here on Poles, and it's close. 36 points for RealRoyboi in first. 26 points for crispp and Liffey in joint third. This is going to be a really spicy end, and it's on Hoga, let's not forget.
Oh, there's a landing bug. There's 2 landing bugs for DvinJo and crispp. But hold that train of thought, Orion, because before we get to Hoga, DvinJo and crispp having an absolute nightmarish start. One of them will lose 6 points, the other one 10, unless utter carnage ensues up front. Liffey and Roy able to be the prime beneficiaries. Liffey especially because he is currently, let's not forget, shared last.
Yeah, he is. It's a 2-way fight here, or 2 two-horse races, I should say, between RealRoyboi and Liffey and crispp and DvinJo. Crispp with a much better exit line should get DvinJo here. Liffey just behind Roy as well. Goes for the snipe, doesn't quite get it, but it's so close between first and second, and then third and fourth. But Roy, -1 for him, is going to go into the final map, Hoga, with not much of a lead, but a lead nonetheless.
It could have been worse for Roy. It really could have been worse. He reestablished at least a 10-point lead again, right? But for the first time, I'm scared that we're not going to see a map 5. Because this is so close together that I could reasonably see two just... I mean, we're going to see a map 5 for like seeding purposes, but I don't think we're going to see a map 5 where elimination is still a topic that we talk about unless people clutch up massively. You're muted, mate.
Thank you. I think we'll definitely get to the next map, but we might get there with significantly fewer players than we have at present. Possibly a 1v1 like we saw between Boz and Epos for that final map, but we'll see. Hoga, I think, is going to take its toll, but on who? Is it going to be bad for everyone equally? Is one player going to stand out in particular? Tough to say, really.
I just want to read to you a absolute pearl from the chat. Two mics and still muted. Lol.
Yep. Yep. Thanks.
Fantastic one, team. Fantastic one. For that is we go on to Hoga. We're being run over by the cars, but it doesn't matter. Our cameraman seemingly is fine.
Yep. We'll see what happens on Hoga. The first drift not catching anyone out. And now we go into the nice part of the map. This is the Hoga that doesn't want to kill you. It just guides you through the turns very, very nicely, and no one ever crashes.
Mariana, if you want to break my shins, you're happy to feel free to break Orion's shins as well, as no one crashes these except for Roy, who definitely crashes these. I mean, the middle part of Hoga doesn't really want to kill you. It just wants to stab you gently.
Yeah, nicely. It asks you first.
Oh, I also misread the name. Whoops, I can read, I swear.
Well, it's a win for DvinJo, and Roy with a fat -10 from the lead is going to drop him all the way down onto 25 points. Yeah, that is plus 10 seconds as well, whereas everyone else was within 0.2. So, Roy, Hoga issue, troll despair, seems that way.
Seems that way. I mean, he was asking, instead of playing Hoga, to play rock, paper, scissors instead of this map, right? So I don't think he necessarily fancies his chances on Hoga, but he still has a lead. It may only be 4 points, but it is a lead. Doesn't matter how big or small it is. The size of the lead really doesn't matter.
It doesn't, but now all the players are really close, and it could be genuinely decided just in a couple of rounds now. If you have 2 bad rounds in a row, you're pretty much on last chance. That is the case for Liffey and crispp at the moment. DvinJo on 21 points is just safe from that 2-round disaster, but DvinJo actually looking to be the best player so far on this map is once again out in front with Liffey just behind. Liffey carrying a lot of speed through though, and with a better last drift might be able to snipe DvinJo. I think DvinJo just about has enough speed, and they go in 1, 2, 3. But once again, Roy, 4th place, does not seem to have the strength and the consistency and the pace that we saw from him on all the other maps. So he's now on 15 points. DvinJo into the lead. Liffey in 2nd. Yeah, rough for Roy. 2 4th places in a row, and the dynamic of the match has changed completely for him.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't seem comfortable for Roy, as he's again having a poor start, but not as poor as DvinJo. Oh boy, 2 good results, and then immediately it's the curse of the lead. Orion, I'll say it, this round somewhat, whoever's in first, he's just cursed.
Possibly. We'll see if that comes true. crispp is currently in first and is the player in last as things stand. Liffey with a bit of a mistake on the drift, catching a bit of airtime. Roy with a touch, but I think he's going to remain in 3rd place, as now Liffey and crispp are free to fight it out, but crispp has pulled that about half a second, so really needs to make this finish, does crispp, and lose the minimum amount of points in this round, force everyone else that little bit closer to him. He's gone for quite a wide line, hasn't touched the wall, but it's a bit close. Oh, he
No!
hasn't made it. He respawned. I thought he was going to make the finish. Oh, Crisp, you poor man. Could have lost one. Instead, it's 6 times worse. Goes down onto 2 points. Oh, man, so unfortunate.
Oh no! Oh no! Crisp! I was about to say with his first place, he wants to say, "Come everyone, let's cuddle on single-digit points," but I don't think he'll see the
DvinJo.
day.
Oh no.
He might actually see the day if everyone can cuddle on single-digit points, but Crisp needs to win this round. Liffey, that's a big whiff from him. Roy and DvinJo P2 and P3, but comfortably behind behind Crisp. This could be his round.
Yeah, DvinJo's made another mistake, and that has opened up the gap. So Crisp once again has a golden opportunity here, because any other result other than first would mean that he goes on to last chance. So he can survive another round here, and then whatever happens in the next round, that would be when he goes on to last chance. He's half a second clear of RealRoyboi. It just needs to be this finish that he needs to make this time. Goes for the drift, doesn't touch the inside. It's looking good, just needs the lineup and gets it. Gets the finish. Big round from Crisp there, and he'll go on to 1 point. And whatever happens in the next round, he will be on to last chance. DvinJo is on last chance, though, losing all 10 of his remaining points. So absolutely vital there for Crisp that he's avoided that double last chance. And Roy, despite putting in chat that his pace really isn't great on this map, is still hanging on in there, and he's only a point behind Liffey, who is now up to first.
I want DvinJo to go out simply because if he just finished third, we could have had a possibility of a quadruple last chance in this round. Or rather, after this round. But no, DvinJo had to throw, so it's impossible. I'm still gonna wait for it very patiently, but it's looking unlikely, is what I'll tell us. Liffey and Roy really need to finish, well, as far down as they can. It's looking not so good, as Crisp is currently comfortably 0.3 of a second behind everyone else. The top three, though, really close together. DvinJo in front, good for him. Roy and Liffey not far behind.
Liffey in third, but really trying to push. Does not want to finish fourth, though. Liffey wants to avoid that fourth place at all costs, because that would put him on to last chance. I think he's going to do that, although Crisp looking for the snipe and getting the snipe as well. Liffey on to last chance now as well as Crisp. So we have a triple last chance. Roy will be on 6 points. So if he finishes first or second, he will survive. This is going to be crazy, but that will be the end of Hoga. We go back onto Frameshift now, and I'm trying to recall who the best player on this map was. My mind is telling me DvinJo was the best on this map.
My mind is telling me it wasn't Crisp.
It was not Crisp, no.
That's what my mind is telling me. It wasn't Crisp, and that's scary because he's on last chance, and we could potentially still have a quadruple last chance. We have a triple last chance, already pretty good. We will definitely not see Candy Crush for a second time. But it's one round. Just for the content, give us the quadruple last chance. I'm begging you.
Well, yeah, if Roy finishes last,
yeah, if Roy finishes last,
we will play 4 more rounds, and we will eliminate 1 player for every round.
Yeah,
which I don't think I've ever seen before. I've seen double last chances, sure, but all 4 players on sudden death. That's mad for a tournament like this.
Mm-hmm. And it is, let's not forget, this is the lower bracket. This is the lower round of 16. If you finish last, you'll be in shared 16th. If you finish in second to last, in third, that's the word. You'll finish in 13th and fourth, or shared 13th rather. So it is still a bit on the line as well. Placement, pride. A lot of stuff that can go wrong, obviously, and looking back at the first time around here on Frameshift, Crisp had a bit of a nightmare, so let's see if this time he can redeem himself. No main problems on the start, everyone getting the jump nice and clean. The landing is looking good as well. Into the gear 4 hell we go.
Yep, we'll see who can hold the gears the best as we go into this first drift, and even here you need to hold that gear 4 as well. Then going around the outside dirt, get as close to the wall as you can. DvinJo losing it and will lose point 2 as a result. So he will be down the back of the field. That is a clip for Liffey. And he's going to need a mistake up front if he does not want to be dropping out early on. That's a really unfortunate place to clip as well, because he is, as you say, in gear 4 hell right now. But if we don't want to lose anyone, Roy needs to finish last. And that is a clip for Roy as well. Liffey needs to snipe Roy here at the end. He's right behind him. He's overtaking. Liffey, does he have the speed? No, he doesn't. Roy with the better finish. Liffey, after that early mistake, is going to be the first casualty here. But Roy does drop onto last chance with that 3rd place finish. So we have another triple last chance to end this match. Whoever goes out here, or whoever finishes last, will be eliminated. And the final 2, it won't matter. They will be advancing in the lower bracket.
GG's to Liffey. Unfortunately, he just tapped on the brake for a split second too long and lacked the speed to overtake Roy. He had it in his grasp. Quadruple last chance could have been upon us, but alas, it's only going to be 2 consecutive triple last chances. Oh, how the spoiled kids are crying. But right now, no more mistakes are allowed. DvinJo and Chris looking very strong. Roy missing a gear, possibly falling behind as a result. Going for the jump. DvinJo has his unique angled approach, and it's working out brilliantly and consistently for him. Is currently P1, P2 with Chris right on his tail. Roy 2/10 behind, but there's a bunk. There's a bunk from Chris on the outside.
Crisp with a touch allows Roy to come through. No mistakes at the end, and it will be Crisp that drops out of this lower bracket, and it looks like it's going to be that way. DvinJo in, Roy in, and it will be those 2 making it through. That touch from Crisp was the nail in the coffin for him, and that will be the end of his run in BIPC 2. But we have one more round, Macfish, and it will be contested between DvinJo and RealRoyboi on frame shift.
DvinJo versus RealRoyboi. Frame shift. It is the 2 players coming down from the lower bracket of our first stream match will survive to move in unison into the lower bracket round of 12. Let's see who can perhaps get the quote-unquote easier match. Basically, it's who can avoid Acros.
Yeah, Roy.
If you're second, you get Acros.
Wider line there from Roy. DvinJo has more speed, and it's opening up nicely for DvinJo here. Roy hasn't had the greatest endings, and DvinJo now with a 0.4 lead. Roy's really going to have to send it, but a clip on the outside wall. Surely that will open things up nicely for DvinJo here. Roy with a release as well. DvinJo nails that final drift, powers towards the finish, and wins in this lower bracket matchup.
GG's. DvinJo wins. He will move on to the lower bracket semi-final. And crucially, he avoids Acros in that lower bracket semi-final. That unfortunate prize goes to RealRoyboi, who has to contend with Acros. But, alright, what a match that has been. That was better than what we expected. That was closer than what we've expected. That was absolutely spectacular from a dramaturgic point of view.
Yeah, no, really good match. Really great show from all the players there. There was just no real clear favorite. Everyone was equally consistent or inconsistent, however you want to look at it. And all players had about the same pace. It was just one would crash around and then another would win, and it was just seesawing. So I don't think anyone was kind of just driving full safe. Everyone was really trying to kind of push themselves. They knew what was at stake, and I think that's why the mistakes were coming through for some players. But yeah, right down to the wire. Could have even had a quadruple last chance, which mathematically, statistically, you don't get that all too often. Ended up with a triple last chance, and ultimately DvinJo and Roy held their nerve at the end and were able to advance in the lower bracket. But we do say goodbye to Mr. Crisp and Liffey.
Yeah, goodbye to the average man, Miss Liffey, and goodbye to the Englishman. I think he's English, right? He's not Scotland. No, yeah, he's English. He's English, right? Goodbye to Crisp as well, as we will see the results from the other lower bracket round of 16 as well. It was Babs Socks that we will have to say goodbye to. Another Irishman eliminated, another admin, of course, of the BITM, and Babs having to go home. Socks joining him, the Mr. Consistent from our previous match, not able to find that. Nairuko and Jorday going in through, and interestingly, it's Nairuko that goes in first and has to play, you finish first, nice, and now you play Akros.
Yeah, he's kind of shot himself in the foot there a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, it really has.
Oh, dear. Oh, well, I mean, we've got 2 stacked matches. We will be picking one of them. I won't say which one it is now, but the first lower bracket semi-final is going to be contested between Jaffa Padawan, Leo, DvinJo, and Jorday. And the second one contested between Akros, Gibbonston, Nyaroku, and RealRoyboi. So, yeah, we are now at the business end of the bracket. That is for sure. And after those 2 matches, we will have our top 8 because we have our upper final, and that will decide who will be playing in that lower bracket final, which will be played tomorrow.
Yeah, but before we move all on to that, we do have an interview, because we have heard of DvinJo before, let's get in Roy. So let's actually get him in. RealRoyboi, welcome to the stream. Congratulations on your survival in the lower bracket.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a tough fight, having everyone close to finalists at the end there. Almost got a 4-way finalist.
Yeah, it looked very tense. What was the mental like? What were the nerves like? Were the hands shaking, or were you calm and confident?
I was alright at most maps except for Hoga. On Hoga, I just completely lost my head. I even said going in, Hoga trolled a spare, and I think that probably threw me off even more. I went in with a bad mental. But
there should be a golden clip as well of you getting. It was just after everyone had got through the outside dirt. And I was like, okay, now we get into the nice flowy part of the map where nobody usually, and as I said the word crashes, you just flew off the outside of the plastic.
Yeah, I remember that. The first round.
It was perfect. I mean, by the way, your org Molotov has now asked us officially on Twitter to stop cursing you. Just
stop cursing me.
Yeah, because it happened twice. Orion was the second one. I cursed you on polls. I'm sorry. I was like, he's driving really strong. He's having a strong lead and crashed.
Yep. It do be like that.
We're sorry. We'll try to not let that happen again. But, I mean, you move on now in the lower bracket, right? And you face Akros, Gibbo, and Nairuko in your next match that is happening later. What's your thoughts on those 3? What's your thought? Is it just Akros and then whoever gets P2 gets P2, or do you think even Akros could be going out here?
I'm mainly just glad I'm not in the other bracket with Jaffa and Leo. I feel like that would have been a very hard matchup. I do agree. I think Akros is probably going to be very good. I mean, Nairuko beat me in one of the last lower brackets, so who knows? And Gibbo is coming from the winners bracket, so we'll see. It's going to be a good matchup.
What are you thinking about the other one? If you were to give us any kind of prediction, we've got Jaffa, Leo, DvinJo, Jorday. Do you think there's two key favorites there?
I've not actually seen Jaffa play any rounds. I've seen him in the round server and he was doing insane, but I've not actually watched him in any of the streams, so I have no idea, but I imagine he'll be as insane as he was in the round server. So, I mean, Leo obviously is ridiculous. So, I think those are very strong contenders. DvinJo and Jorday do still stand a chance. It just depends how Jaffa and Leo play, I think.
Yeah.
So you think it's more on Jaffa and Leo to lose rather than DvinJo and Jorday to win? If you like, it's more than just pro.
Perhaps, but honestly, I don't know because I haven't watched Jaffa play, so okay. I don't know how he is in the tense moments.
And what was your expectation coming into it? You're now one round away. If you do survive your next round, you're into the money spots, right? Is that sort of a big motivation for you? Or are you maybe scared because of it, or do you just take it as it comes, hud off, and just play to your best ability?
Kind of just play to my best ability, to be honest. I mean, I'm just going for top 10. If I get in the money, I get in the money, but I was just going for top 10 at the start, and I think I still am. I mean, top 10 here, I think we'll be coming third in this matchup, so I'll be happy with that. But
yeah, you're right.
We may as well push to top 8. I mean, why not? Almost there.
All right, Orion, do you have anything else for Roy?
No, I think I'm gonna let him have a rest. To be honest, it's been a long day.
Cool. Yeah,
It's-
my next matchup is very soon as well, I think, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. Yep.
Yeah,
It's
Go
in, it's,
prepare
in,
for that.
it's in 30 minutes. So, Roy, thank you very much for coming on. Best of luck in your next match, and perhaps we'll even see you tomorrow in the top 8. Good luck,
Thank you
and
very
see you
much.
around.
Hopefully. See you later. Bye.
Bye bye.
What a nice chap. Even though both of us cursed him once, he didn't seem affected at all.
I mean, the players can't hear us. It would be a bit of a disaster if they could, to be honest.
Could you imagine playing because the stream is delayed, right? Could you imagine playing and just having the stream on in the background? But as some sort of like
people do
instead of like having a coach with you that watches the stream or is in lobby, you sort of have the stream as a coach.
Don't take our advice. Worst thing you could possibly do.
Also, yes, very valid. Don't take our advice. We're bad at the game. Actually,
Hey,
not
I
that
made
bad.
it top 32.
I mean, okay, we're actually not that bad at the game, but we're not this good at the game.
No,
Let's put it
okay,
that way.
okay.
Let's put it that way. So definitely don't take advice from us, but what you want to take is a little break to get some snacks, get some water, get some tea, coffee, or whatever you want to get into your system, and then get right back with us because we have one more series tonight. We have the lower bracket semi-final match 1 between Jeffer, Leo, DvinJo, and Jordan right after this break.